The Zelrak scout ship drifted quietly along the dark edge of its assigned sector. Its crew wasn't expecting anything. Patrol duty was always boring out here. For 10 standard years, nothing had appeared in this part of space. No traders, no pirates, just the silent void. But tonight, that silence was about to shatter. Inside the control room of the scout ship, Captain Vrek sat in his chair, staring at the sensor screen with half-closed eyes. His second officer, Gelth, leaned over a console, running routine scans. Both looked tired, their greenish skin pale under the dim ship lights. Then it happened. A sharp beep broke through the silence. Gelth straightened. His voice shook slightly as he spoke. Captain... I'm picking up something, Vrex opened his eyes fully now. What kind of something? Gelth frowned, tapping the panel again and again. Unknown vessel. It just appeared on long range. Scanners. Vrex narrowed his eyes. A ship? Out here? Delth didn't answer right away. His clawed hands worked faster now, feeding data through the ship's analysis system. Finally, he said yes, a ship. But, Captain, it wasn't here. 1 second ago, it just... appeared. No hyperspace signature, no energy trail. It's just there. Rex's mouth tightened. That was not possible. No ship could appear from nowhere. Every civilization used hyperspace lanes. It was the rule of physics. Bring it up on main screen, Vrex ordered. The crew watched as the screen lit up. First, all they saw was darkness. Then, slowly, a shape came into focus. It was massive, long, dark, and sharp-edged, like a weapon forged from metal and silence. Its hull shimmered in black and gray, reflecting almost nothing. No lights blinked on its surface, no nameplates, no signals, just ... there. What the void is that? One of the younger officers whispered. Gelth's voice was shaking now. A full scan. Captain Vrex said nothing, watching the shape with narrowed eyes. His instincts, honed over years of space duty, told him this was bad. Very bad. A long silence followed. Then the scan results came in. The control room filled with flashing alerts. Red lights blinked across every console. Captain, Gelth shouted. It's power core. I don't understand. These readings... Vrex stood now, his voice sharp. Report. Gelth's words came fast and panicked. Power levels off the scale. Hull composition unknown. Weapon systems unknown. I don't even think our scanners can read it properly. It's beyond anything we've ever seen. The other officers looked at each other in fear. Vrex forced himself to stay calm. Calm down. Focus. Can it detect us? Gelth's face turned pale green. Captain, I think, it already knows we're here. Before Vrex could speak, the ship on the screen moved. No engines flared. No energy burst. It just ... shifted. One moment it was still, the next it was closer, much closer. Now filling the entire viewing screen, the bridge crew held their breath. Then, something new happened. A message appeared on their console screens. Simple, silent words. Words written in Galactic Common. It said, "Do not approach."
S.
That was all Vrex's. Heart pounded. His mind raced through options. Should they run? Report back to the council? Or fire a warning shot? Was still deciding when Gelth whispered, Captain... Rex turned. The ship... It's scanning us. Now Vrex felt cold all over. Scanning. If their scanners couldn't read that ship, what kind of scan could it be using? Outside, invisible to the naked eye, waves of unknown energy swept across. The Zelrak scout ship. Every system flickered lights, engines, weapons. It felt like the ship itself was being dissected, cell by cell. Vrex made a choice. Cut engines. Power down weapons. No hostile moves, he ordered. Send a full report to command. Now. Gelth's fingers trembled as he transmitted the emergency alert. Message sent... Before he finished, the lights across the control room went out, complete blackout. Only emergency backup systems kept basic life support running. Even communication was gone. For a long minute, the crew sat in total silence.
Oh, no one spoke.
No one moved. Then the lights flickered back on. The human ship, the one they now knew, was gone, vanished as suddenly as it had appeared. Rex exhaled slowly. He felt sweat on his skin, something rare for a Zelrak soldier. "Captain," Gelth whispered. "What? ... What just happened?" Vrex stared at the now empty screen. "I don't know," he admitted. But deep inside, he knew the truth. They had just seen something that should not exist. A ship with power beyond anything, known space, and it belonged to ... humans. The most primitive ignored race in the galactic records, except now. That didn't seem true. Anymore, when the scout ship finally limped back to the nearest Zelrak's outpost, their report caused immediate panic. The High Command reviewed it again and again. Scientists tried to analyze the scan data, but nothing made sense. The words off the scale appeared in report after report. The ruling council held emergency meetings behind closed doors. The story leaked fast. Smaller alien factions heard rumors. A ship. Unknown. Powerful. Human. Some laughed. Others didn't sing. Whispers filled every corner of the galaxy. One phrase repeated again and again. They scanned a human ship and immediately knew they were doomed. Across distant worlds, commanders ordered fleet movements. Defense. Grids activated. Peaceful trade routes became war zones, filled with suspicion, and somewhere far away. The ISV Eclipse floated in silence once more. On its bridge, Captain Arlen Stone stood with arms behind his back. He was human, tall, calm, and older than he looked. Behind him, a soft female voice spoke. The voice of the ship's AI Nora. "Report." "Scan complete, Captain," the AI said smoothly. "Yes." Zelrak's scout vessel analyzed. "No threat." Arlen nodded slowly. "Did they transmit back to their command?" "They did," Nora confirmed. "Shall I disable their transmission systems in future?" Arlen smiled faintly. "No. Let the message spread. Understood." He walked to the large observation window at the front of the bridge, staring out into endless stars. "Let them wonder," Arlen said softly. "Let them be afraid." And as Eclipse drifted deeper into the black void, its engines silent, its weapons offline, its purpose remained hidden. But one thing was now certain. Humanity was no longer a forgotten species. They had entered the galactic stage, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The Zelrak's Council Hall was the biggest building on their capital world, Zareth Prime. It had tall black walls and sharp blue lights. Normally, this hall was quiet and full of control. But not today. Today, the leaders of the Zelraks were gathered in panic. There were 12 council members sitting around the long table. All of them had green-gray skin, thin arms, and black eyes. Their long robes brushed against the floor as they argued in loud voices. In front of them floated a hologram. A full 3D image of the human ship, recorded from the scout ship's data. High Chancellor Velker slammed his clawed hand down on the table. "This is impossible," he growled. "A human vessel cannot exist like this. Humans are weak. Their planets are backward." Council member Rock hissed softly. "Weak. Do you see these power readings, Chancellor? Look at the scan results. Their energy core? We cannot even measure it." Velker refused to believe it. His mind raced. For centuries, the Zelraks controlled this part of space. They fought other empires. They crushed pirate fleets. But never once had humans been a threat, until now. A low-ranking officer entered the hall. His voice trembled. "Excuse me, Supreme? Council ... We have just received another report." Everyone turned to look at him. "What report?" Velker asked, eyes narrowing. The scout ship, after returning, was scanned again. Rock tilted his head. "Scanned by who?" "The officer." "Swallowed. We don't know." The same unknown signature. It appeared on the edge of Sector 4, just for 1 second, then vanished. The hall went silent. Velker looked at the image of the human ship again. Its claws tapped slowly on the table. "This cannot be random," he said finally. "This human ship ... It wants us to know." Rock's voice was colder now. "Or it's warning us." Velker shook his head. "Impossible. Humans do not have this kind of power." Another council member, a female named Selith, leaned forward. Perhaps, she said softly, it is not about what humans were. It is about what they have become. A dark, heavy feeling settled in the room. At that moment, another officer ran in. Emergency transmission, he shouted. It's from Deep Space Network 1. Someone has hacked our system. Velker stood sharply. Show it. The lights in the council hall flickered. Every console screen turned black. Then, across all screens, one message appeared. White text. Simple. Silent. Stay back. Nothing else. No voice. No face. No signal trace. The system experts couldn't even tell where it had come from. The council stared in silence. Now, even Velker looked afraid. For the first time in Zelrak's history, their most secure network had been breached. Rock spoke first. That settles it. This is not a myth. This human vessel. ... This eclipse. Slef's voice was sharper now. We must act. Must prepare for war. Velker nodded slowly, his face hard. Alert all fleets. Activate all planetary shields. From this moment forward, humanity is to be treated as a level 1 threat. Outside the council hall, the news spread fast. Smaller alien factions that were allied with Zelrax began receiving quiet signals. Messages filled with fear. Some of them laughed, refusing to believe humans could be a danger. But others listened carefully, and across pirate space, where lawless fleets hunted weak ships, captains gathered to whisper rumors. A human ship. Black. Silent. Able to disable entire fleets with a single scan. Some said it wasn't just one ship. Some said there were more. Meanwhile, back on Earth, no one outside the top government knew anything. In a hidden underground base beneath Alaska's ice, 2 humans stood in a cold metal room, looking at a large holographic star map. One was a woman in a black uniform, Director Mara Voss. The other was Captain Arlen Stone. Freshly returned from his quiet mission aboard the Eclipse, Mara folded her arms. So, she said slowly, it's begun. Arlen nodded once. His face showed no emotion. They scanned us. Just as expected. And now they panic. Mara turned to him. You sure we should let them continue believing the worst? Arlen shrugged lightly. That was the plan, wasn't it? We revealed just enough, and let their fear do the rest. Mara was silent for a moment, and she asked the question everyone had been avoiding. What if they don't stay afraid? What if they decide to strike first? Arlen's voice was calm and cold. Then Eclipse will be ready. Back in Zelrak's space, fleets were already moving. Thousands of warships gathered around key planets. Defense grids powered up. Plasma. Cannons pointed toward the stars. But fear was stronger than any weapon. On the outer worlds, civilians began evacuating. Spaceports filled with refugees. Rumors spread faster than officials could control. A trader on the planet Zoran told his friend, I heard the humans have a ship that can erase stars. Pirate captain bragged. It's all lies. I'll find this human ship myself and sell its hull as scrap. But when that pirate captain entered deep space 2 days later, his fleet vanished. No distress signals, no wreckage, only silence. The news hit the council hard. Velker slammed his fist against the table. Enough, he shouted. No more waiting. I want eyes on that human ship. Find it. Track it. Rock looked at him. And if we do, Velker growled, then we strike hard. Selith spoke quietly. That would be unwise. Velker glared at her. You're afraid? Selith did not flinch. Yes, I am. And you should be too. The council was divided now. Half wanted war, half wanted to hide. Meanwhile, aboard Eclipse, Arlen sat in his command chair, his eyes half closed as he listened to reports from Nora. Multiple fleets are moving, Nora said. Zelrax and its allies are gathering at 3 major points. Arlen opened his eyes slowly. Good. He stood up and walked across the bridge. His crew was small, mostly Ayas and a few human officers. But each one was handpicked, the best. Arlen spoke calmly. Let them look. Let them gather. We'll watch. Outside the ship, stars drifted by. Eclipse remained silent, its true power hidden beneath layers of stealth systems, and still. No one in the galaxy truly understood why it was here. That night, across hundreds of alien worlds, people lay awake, staring at the sky, wondering if the black human ship was out there. Watching them, waiting, and even those who claimed not to be afraid found themselves whispering the same quiet sentence before sleep. They scanned a human ship and immediately knew they were doomed. The fear wasn't just in the council halls now, it lived in every mind, in every ship, in every heart, across the stars, and the humans had not fired a single shot yet. The Zelrak's High Council had debated for 3 days without sleep. Some members shouted for war, others whispered for peace. But in the end, a decision was made. They would try first contact, not with warships, but with a diplomat. A peaceful message. A way to control the story before it spiraled too far. So, they sent Ambassador Kelver. His vessel, Light of Order, was small but sleek, painted white and gold with no weapons visible. Inside the main chamber, Kelver stood tall and calm. His gray skin and black eyes made him look unreadable, even to his own crew. Kelver believed in logic. He believed fear was weakness, and he did not believe the rumors. A human ship that could erase fleets with no weapons. Ridiculous. This is a simple task, Kelver said as the ship left Zelrak space. We meet, we speak, we return. The council worries for nothing. His second officer, a young female named Sirith, didn't look so sure. Ambassador, ... If the reports are true, he cut her off. We do not act on rumors. We act on facts. Journey lasted 10 standard hours. Finally, Light of Order arrived near the last known position of the human vessel Eclipse. At first, there was nothing. Kelver frowned. Bring up long-range scans. Sirith tapped her console, scanning ... No sign of the ship. Then, suddenly, without warning, Ambassador. Object detected. Right in front of us. Kelver's head snapped toward the viewing window. There. It was eclipsed, black as space itself. Silent. Still no lights. No signals, but it was there. So close now that it felt like the Zelrak ship could touch it. Kelver steadied his voice. Open a communication channel. Quickly, a soft beep. Then she spoke. Unknown human vessel. This is Ambassador Kelver of the Zelrak's High Council. We come in peace. A request dialogue. Silence. They waited. 1 minute, 2, 5. No answer. Kelver's face tightened. Try again. Sirith repeated the message. Again, silence. Kelver felt a strange coldness in his chest. For the first time in years, doubt crept in. Ambassador... Sirith whispered. Something is happening. The lights on Light of Order flickered once. Then again, Kelver's eyes widened. Status report. Sirith's hands flew across her console. Ambassador... I can't. Agagora. Systems are shutting. Down. Kelver gripped the edge of the control panel. No weapons activated. No visible attack. He looked at the viewing window. Eclipse had not moved. No weapons fired. But one by one, every system aboard Light of Order was going dark. Engines - offline. Shields - offline. Weapons - offline. Weapons - already inactive. By order, communications - cut. Life support was the only thing still running. Sirith's voice was almost a whisper now. Ambassador... It's like they're inside our systems. Kelver stepped closer to the window, staring at the black hull of the human ship. Double quotes, they. They are not attacking us, he said slowly. They are showing us. Sirith frowned. Showing us what? Kelver's voice was quieter now. Did they can? For a long time, the ship floated, dead in space. Just two vessels, one alive, one held silent by something beyond logic. Finally, the lights flickered back on. Every system returned to normal. Sirith gasped softly. Kelver took a steady breath. His mind raced. They could have destroyed us. Cirith nodded, her voice tight. They chose not to. Kelver sat down slowly in his chair, his long arms resting on the sides. This is no ordinary first contact. He gave one order only. Turn back. I set course for home. Cirith's eyes flicked toward him in surprise. We're not trying again? Kelver shook his head once. We already have our answer. When light of order returned to Zelrak space, the council gathered again in full. Kelver stood. Before them, silent as ever. His voice did not shake as he spoke. There is no point in negotiation, he said simply. We cannot win. His report caused waves through the galaxy. For the first time in Zelrak's history, an ambassador had returned not as a victor, but as a warning. Other races heard the news. Fast pirates, traitors, mercenary kings. All of them, and now the fear, doubled. Because the story was not just about a human ship with unknown power. Now it was about how that power was used. Silently, without killing, without even moving. It made them all ask the same question in hushed voices. Why? Why did the humans not destroy the Zelrak's ambassador's ship? What did they want? On Earth, hidden in a command base deep under the oceans? Director Mara Voss watched the Zelrak's news feeds quietly. Beside her stood Captain Arlen Stone. They sent a diplomat, she said softly. Arlen nodded. I expected as much. And you let them live, she added, glancing at him sideways. Arlen smiled faintly. Fear is a sharper tool than fire. Mara studied him for a moment. Do you think it will hold, that fear? Arlen's answer was calm, cold. It will hold until someone gets stupid. Back in the stars, that moment was already coming. Closer, in a lawless system called V-Trax 3, a rogue warlord named Braskar gathered his fleet. Braskar was not Zelrak's. He belonged to a minor species. Known for heavy armor and zero patience, his fleet was made of old warships, patched and scarred. But there were hundreds of them. Braskar didn't believe the stories. Humans, he laughed, his voice like grinding metal, week-old. I'll break their ship apart with my cannons. His lieutenants cheered, so Braskar set out. 150 warships, burning toward the last known location of Eclipse, but when they arrived, nothing, empty space. Braskar cursed. Find them. He roared. His ships spread out. For 3 hours they searched, until suddenly Braskar's lead ship vanished. No explosion. No signal, gone. Then another ship. And another. Within 10 minutes, half of Braskar's fleet was gone. The rest didn't. Wait to ask how. They ran. But running didn't help. Braskar's entire fleet disappeared into the dark. One by one, as if they had never existed. When news reached the Zelrak's council, even Velker's face turned pale. No signals, Rock said quietly. No debris, no survivors. Selith's voice was calm and sharp as ice. I believe. Humans just sent their real message. And for the first time, not a single voice in the council room spoke against her, because now they all knew the galaxy had changed, and no one could pretend otherwise. Across the galaxy, fear turned into something else. Fear became tension. Tension became anger. After the disappearance of Braskar's fleet, things couldn't stay quiet anymore. The Zelrak's High Council was forced to make a choice. They had to act. They would lose control of their own empire. So they sent warships. Thousands. The largest combined fleet ever launched by the Zelraks and their allies. 100 dreadnoughts, 400 destroyers. Smaller support ships. Carrier vessels. Missile cruisers. A formation so wide it covered half a solar system when stretched out. At the center of it all was Supreme Commander Keltrax, the most experienced war leader in Zelrak's history. He stood tall on the bridge of his flagship, the XR's obliterator looking at the star map in front of him. His orders were clear. Find the human ship, surround it, and if needed, wipe it out. But deep inside, even Keltrax wasn't sure that was possible. Still, orders were orders. The fleet moved. Days passed as they searched sector after sector until finally, one of the long-range sensor ships caught it. A shadow. A signal the eclipse, sitting in open space, silent, waiting. Exactly. Where no one expected it to be. Keltrax gave his orders quickly. His voice was calm, firm. All ships form battle lines. No one fires without command. Prepare energy shields. The fleet tightened its formation around Eclipse. From every angle, warships pointed weapons toward the human vessel. It was now completely surrounded. From Keltrax's position on the bridge, the human ship looked small. It's too small for all this. His second officer, Relvor, spoke quietly beside him. Double quotes commander. It feels like a trap. Keltrax only nodded once. His black eyes stayed on the human ship. Begin full scan. The fleet's sensors powered up together. Scanning waves moved across space toward Eclipse, measuring its hull, its weapons, its core. What they saw didn't make sense. Relvor frowned, sir. Dot. Readings are strange. No shields detected. No active weapon systems. No life signs. He stopped. Suddenly, all the fleet's sensors turned black. Every ship at once. All scanning equipment went offline. Keltrax stepped forward. What's happening? Before anyone could answer, the human ship moved. Not fast. Not. With weapons, it just shifted in space. Only a small adjustment. But it was enough. The closest Zelrak ship, a heavy destroyer, blinked out of existence. Keltrax's heart jumped. Report, he barked. Sir, Relvor shouted. The destroyer is gone. No explosion. ... Just ... Gone. Keltrax clenched his fists. Maintain position. Do not fire. The fleet held still, but then another ship vanished, and another, one by one. Ships at the edge of the formation disappeared like dust. No weapon fire, no engine flares, nothing. Just silence. Keltrax felt sweat on his face now. I don't understand, Vor whispered. Then Keltrax saw it. A shimmer around the eclipse, like a wave of airbending light. His voice was rough. Spatial phase technology. ... Relvor stared at him, sir. Keltrax spoke slowly, realizing the truth as he said it. They are out of phase. Half in this dimension. Half somewhere else. That's why no sensors could read them. That's why nothing hit them. That's why they could erase ships. ... Just by moving, Keltrax forced himself to stay calm. All ships hold fire, he said again. Maintain position. But in the outer ranks, some captains panicked. One Zelrak's cruiser opened fire. A stream of plasma bolts shot toward Eclipse. Everyone on the fleet command channel heard Keltrax shout, "Cease fire! Hold!" But it was too late. The plasma bolts never reached Eclipse. They vanished in mid-space, gone as if swallowed. The cruiser that fired them vanished next. Keltrax slammed his hand down. All ships pull back, full retreat. But now the fleet was breaking apart. Panic spread faster than orders. Some ships turned and fled. Some opened fire on each. The perfect formation shattered, and all the while, Eclipse did not chase. It did not fire a single shot. It did not fire a single shot. It simply drifted forward, as if walking through a storm. Keltrax watched helplessly as his fleet fell apart. Within 20 minutes, more than half of it was gone. Destroyed. Captured. No one could tell. Keltrax gave his last order. Cut all comms. Set course away from this sector now. His ship, the Obliterator, turned and fled at full speed. When they finally reached a safe system far from the encounter zone, Keltrax stood on the bridge in silence. Relvor approached him slowly. Sir. ... What do we tell the council? Keltrax's face was hard as iron. Tell them. There was no battle. Relvor swallowed. No battle? Keltrax nodded once. There was no battle. Only ... defeat. When the news reached Zelrak's capital, the council sat in silence for hours. Not even Velker spoke now. Every fleet admiral confirmed the same thing. There had been no war. The human ship had erased half a fleet. Without ever firing, it wasn't about weapons anymore. It was about power beyond anything the Zelraks could imagine, beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Whispers spread faster than news channels, across every world and every city. The same words passed from mouth to mouth. The battle never happened. And in secret, many smaller empires began sending quiet messages to Earth. Not threats, not challenges, but offers. Offers of peace, of trade, of surrender. Meanwhile, aboard Eclipse, Captain Arlen Stone stood on the bridge with his arms crossed. His crew worked quietly around him. Nora's voice spoke softly in the background. "Half the fleet erased, Captain. No casualties on our side." Arlen's voice was calm as ever. "Good." He watched the stars in front of him. "Did they fire on?" "Us." "Only one cruiser," Nora replied. "The rest followed orders, till panic set in." Arlen nodded once. "That's how it always is," he said. Silence fell again, but deep inside, both man and machine knew something important. The galaxy wasn't just afraid anymore, it understood. There was no way to fight Earth's hidden power. And now, humanity's next move was up to them. Captain Arlen closed his eyes for a brief moment. "Let's go dark again," he ordered. "No signals, no scans. Let them wonder." The Eclipse drifted away, its engines leaving no trail. And across the stars, every ruler, every soldier, every citizen waited in silence. Because now, all of them knew the same terrible truth. The battle had never really happened. And still, ... humanity had won. The Zelrak's High Council no longer spoke loudly in public. Their great war fleet had been defeated without a real fight. Their strongest commanders had returned silent and afraid. But questions remained. One question louder than all the others. Where? Did the humans get such a ship? For years, Earth had been ignored by the greater galaxy. No one believed the humans had advanced technology. Their last known ships were small, weak science vessels or slow colony carriers. Now there was Eclipse. A human ship that could vanish from sensors. A ship that could erase war fleets with no visible weapons. The Council demanded answers. They turned to old records. To the Science Guild. That is where the historian Varnjox entered the story. Varn was not a warrior. He was an old Zelrak scholar, working quietly in the ancient archives. But one night as he searched through forgotten files, he found something strange. A report, dated over 50 years ago. From a deep space expedition near human territory, Varn frowned as he read it. Unregistered. Anomaly. Power signatures beyond Class 10, traced to human colony sector. ... The file was marked closed. No threat. But Varn didn't agree. His heart beat faster. The next morning, Varn stood before Council Member Seleth, the only one willing to listen. He showed her the old report. "This isn't random, Counselor," he said in a quiet voice. "The humans found something. 50 years ago." Seleth read the file carefully. Her black eyes narrowed. "Where?" "Sector Z19, Varn answered. "An ancient vault. One that predates even the Zelrak's empire." Seleth leaned back slowly. "Impossible. Those vaults were sealed for eternity." Varn shook his head. "Unless..." The humans opened it. Seleth said nothing for a moment. Then she gave an order. "Double-lock this report and vanish. Leave the city." Varn blinked. "Because," Seleth said calmly, "others will kill to keep this quiet." Varn left the capital under cover of night, and by morning, rumors had already spread. Someone had leaked information about Earth's secret. Some said the humans had found alien relics. Some said they had awakened a god machine. Others believed they had stolen forbidden tech from fallen empires. Whatever the truth, fear only grew stronger. Across the galaxy, smaller factions stopped trading. Port stations closed. Merchant guilds vanished. Everyone waited. Meanwhile, on Earth, deep below the icy surface of Antarctica, a hidden facility hummed quietly inside. Director Mara Voss stood in a vast chamber. Before her was a black vault door, covered in alien symbols, symbols older than human history. Captain Arlen Stone stood beside her. So, Arlen said calmly, the council finally figured it out. Mara gave a short nod. It was only a matter of time. Behind them, technicians worked quietly. Screens showed lines of ancient code, none written in any human language. Arlen looked at the vault door with thoughtful eyes. This is where it began, he said. 50 years ago, a human science vessel, ISV Pathfinder, had drifted too far from charted space. Searching for dark matter trails, it found something else. A vault, hidden inside a dead moon. No power signature. No defenses. Just ... there inside. Humanity's first contact with pre-galactic technology. Weapons, engines, systems, Earth could barely understand. It took them years to unlock even a small part of it. But when they did ... they built Eclipse. And later, something larger. Back in Zelrak space, Ambassador Kelver listened to the whispers now floating through the highest levels of power. He spoke quietly with Rock in a private chamber. We always believed humans were children, Kelver said. Blind ... weak ... Rock's voice was sharp. Now it seems they wear the skin of children. But inside ... they are older than us. Kelver said nothing for a long time. But inside he knew Rock was right now. The fleets began gathering again. Not for attack, but for defense. Barriers rose around core worlds. Shield grids flickered to life, and yet many already believed it would not help. What defense could stop something that erased ships with a thought? Board Eclipse, Nora reported to Captain Arlen again. Galaxy status. 78% of known factions are on lockdown. Trade routes frozen. Multiple empires requesting contact. Arlen's voice was calm. Let them wait. He walked quietly to the observation window. Stars stretched endlessly. His crew stood silent behind him. He spoke not loudly, but enough for all to hear. They think this ship is our secret, our greatest power. No one spoke. Arlen smiled faintly. They are wrong. Back on Earth, deep in the hidden facility, Mara Voss stood before another vault. This one was different. Larger. Older. The door began to open, and what waited beyond was not a ship, not a weapon, but something else. Something that no alien had seen, and no human had yet dared to use. The true reason the Eclipse existed. Not to fight, but to stand guard. Guarding the real secret behind the human rise. The vault whispered as it opened, a cold wind, faint pulse of impossible energy, and across the galaxy, though they did not know why. Every alien species felt a chill, like something had woken up, and like something was watching. The Zelrak's High Council chamber was silent. No shouting this time, no arguments. For days now, every faction leader sat with cold faces and tired eyes. The human ship had erased half their war fleet without firing once. No one knew if it would return. But late that evening, a single signal reached the Zelrak's homeworld. It wasn't an attack. It wasn't a virus. It was just a voice. On every screen across every planet, controlled by the Zelraks and their allies, a black screen appeared. Then white text filled it. Transmission incoming. Source ISV Eclipse. Inside the council chamber, all 12 members leaned forward, frozen. The voice was calm, human. My name is Captain Arlen Stone, commanding officer of the ISV Eclipse. His voice echoed across the stars. Smooth, controlled, not angry, not violent. We came here to observe. We have no intention to harm unless pushed. Simple words, but they hit harder than any weapon. Council member Seleth whispered first. They're speaking now. On planets across the Zelrak's empire, civilians watched the message in their homes. Children, soldiers, traders, everyone. The voice continued. We hold no claim over your territory. We hold no interest in conquest. There was a pause. lasted just long enough to let the fear grow. But if attacked again, we will not hold back. That was it. No threat, no show of power. No fleets, just a calm human voice. Then the signal ended. Silence filled the galaxy. It was like everyone held their breath at the same time, for the first hour after the message. Not a single warship moved. Not a single shot was fired anywhere in. Zelrak's Space Dot Ambassador Kelver stood quietly on his private balcony, staring up at the sky. His second officer, Sirith, stepped beside him. Sir, ... She said quietly, what do we do now? Kelver spoke after a long pause. Now, ... we decide whether to live in fear, ... or live in peace. But not everyone wanted peace. In a distant system, far from the Zelrak's core, a smaller alien faction prepared a secret strike. The Kothari Syndicate. A rogue group not under direct Zelrak's control. Their leader, Vekdal, believed the message from the humans was weakness. A warning. Is just words, Vekdal growled. If we strike first, ... we win. His plan was simple. Attack Earth directly. Hit one of the outer colonies. Show the humans that the galaxy would not kneel so easily. Within 3 days, Vekdal's warfleet launched. 30 heavy cruisers, their target, Earth's moon base. The Kothari ships dropped out of hyperspace above the human moon. Weapons ready, but they never fired. Because the moment they appeared, everything went wrong. Their engines shut down, their targeting systems froze, their ships floated dead in space, from behind the shadow of Earth's moon. Another ship appeared, not eclipsed, something bigger, darker, twice as large. Its name was not brought, its weapons were not shown, but the Kothari. Ships vanished one by one within minutes. Not a single distress signal was sent. Not a single explosion was seen. When Zelrak's intelligence picked up the data, they shared it only with the High Council. Velker's voice cracked as he read the report. There's another ship, Selth spoke quietly beside him. We always believed Eclipse was the threat. Now they knew Eclipse was only the first sign, back on Earth. Deep under the ice vault, Director Mara Voss met with Captain Arlen. They stood side by side in the command chamber. Screens showed live feeds from across the galaxy. Messages requesting peace. Messages filled with surrender. Arlen didn't smile. Mara looked at him. You waited long enough? Why speak now? Arlen's answer was simple. Letting them fear shadows was step 1. Now, ... they need to know we're not shadows. We're here, in Zelrak space. The message from Eclipse continued to ripple. Many smaller empires sent ambassadors to Earth directly now. No more threats, no more demands. Instead, they offered trade, technology, even territory. The human fleet didn't reply. Not yet. Because Captain Arlen's orders were clear. Observe. Wait. Speak only when necessary. That night, across hundreds of worlds, people gathered in quiet groups. No one celebrated. No one partied. It wasn't the end of a war. It wasn't victory. It was something else. The feeling that something larger had happened. Something permanent. From now on, every ruler in the galaxy had to think carefully before moving a fleet. Before making a threat. Because somewhere in the dark, a human ship might be watching. And the next message might not be just words. After the message from Captain Arlen Stone, the galaxy stayed quiet for several weeks. No fleets moved, no shots fired. But silence does not always mean peace. Across Zelrak space, smaller groups still planned in secret. In the shadows, far from the Council's control, warlords gathered. They believed the human threat was just one ship, maybe 2. We outnumber them, said Warlord Karoth, leader of the Nether clans. If we strike together, they will fall. Karoth wasn't alone. 5 rogue factions joined him. Each brought their own fleets. They didn't tell the Zelrak's council. They didn't send warnings to Earth. They simply gathered. Over 2,000 ships. It became the largest hidden fleet in rogue history. Their plan? Attack Earth directly. No warning. No mercy. Meanwhile, on Earth, Captain Arlen stood once again on the bridge of the ISV, Eclipse. But he wasn't alone now. In front of him, on a private communication screen, stood Director Mara Voss. "The rogue fleets are moving," Mara said calmly. Arlen nodded. "We knew this would happen. They think we only have Eclipse," she added. "They still don't understand." Arlen smiled faintly. "Shall we show them?" Mara gave a simple nod. "It's time."
Captain?
Arlen turned toward his crew. "Wait, the fleet? 2 words. That's all." But across Earth's hidden military stations, silent machines came to life, from hidden bases under oceans. Beneath ice caps and even deep inside asteroids, ships powered on, not 1 or 2 hundreds, each one. Larger and more dangerous than the last. Titan-class warships, silent for decades. Now moving. The hidden fleet built from the same ancient technology found in the vaults long ago? No. Alien race outside Earth knew they existed, until now. On the edge of Earth's solar system, Warlord Kareth's fleet arrived. His ship stretched. Across the stars, like a wall of steel, Karath stood on his command deck, staring at Earth on his main screen. Begin the attack run. But then, ... His sensors picked up something. New contacts, his officer shouted. Multiple ships ... Hundreds. No thousands. Karath turned sharply. Where? The answer made his blood run cold. All around us. The hidden fleet had arrived. Titan warships surrounded Karath's armada from every side. Black ships with no markings. No signals. Just silent shapes in the void. Before Karath could order a retreat, a single transmission came through. Text only. This is Earth's hidden fleet? Stand down or be erased. Karath hesitated. For the first time in his life, real fear gripped him, but pride was stronger. Open fire, he shouted. His ships fired first. Plasma beams, missiles, railguns, thousands of weapons, lit up the dark, but none of them reached the human ships. The moment the first shot fired, the hidden fleet activated its true power. A wave of invisible energy spread across space. Karath's ships lost engine control. Weapon systems shut down. Shields dropped to 0 one by one. Entire cruisers vanished from sensors, not destroyed, simply ... gone. Karath watched helplessly as his fleet disappeared. Before his eyes, within 10 minutes, 2,000 ships had been wiped from existence. No explosions, no debris, just silence. The galaxy felt the shockwave. Zelrak's command centers picked up the data streams. So did every major faction now. Everyone saw the truth. Eclipse wasn't alone. Earth wasn't weak. They had been hiding an entire fleet director. Mara Voss watched it all unfold from her command center. Her voice was calm when she spoke. Sent a final message to all galactic councils. The message was simple. Earth is not open for war. Only peace. Choose carefully. Across the stars, governments and empires now had no choice. They sent envoys to Earth. Peace treaties, trade agreements, even the Zelrak's council finally admitted. The truth, Seleth spoke it first. During the final council meeting, we thought they were weak because they were quiet, she said. But they were simply waiting, Kelver added softly. Now, the waiting is over. And so the galaxy changed, not with fire, ... but with silence. With a fleet that waited in the dark, till the moment it was needed. Earth had spoken now. Everyone listened. For weeks after Earth's hidden fleet was revealed, the galaxy stayed quiet. No war fleets moved. No new attacks came. In the Zelrak's capital, the High Council sat in silence. There was nothing left to argue about. Humans had proven it. They were no longer the small, forgotten species the galaxy once ignored. They had fleets, ships beyond understanding, and they had patience. Ambassador Kelver stood outside the council chamber, watching the sky. Beside him, Cirith asked quietly, "Do you think they will strike again?" Kelver shook his head. "No, they've already won, without firing first." That same day, a signal reached every major galactic power. Simple, Com. The same human. Voice, this is Earth Command. We invite all empires to send representatives. A peace summit. Location, Earth. For some, the idea was terrifying. Go to the human homeworld. Walk into their territory? But there was no choice. The Zelrax Council agreed. So did 27 other major powers. Within days, ships filled with ambassadors and leaders arrived in Earth orbit. When they entered the atmosphere, something surprised them all. Earth wasn't covered in war machines. There were no giant military structures, no endless fleets hovering above cities. It looked normal. Green forests, blue oceans, tall, shining towers, as if humans had power, but chose not to show it every moment. On the ground, a single building waited. Earth's United Command Center. Inside, Captain Arlen Stone stood beside Director Mara Voss. They wore simple, black uniforms. No weapons. One by one, the alien leaders entered the room. Zelrax, the Vorthok Coalition. Even minor species who once ignored Earth, all now came with one purpose. To listen, no one spoke first. Then Captain Arlen stepped forward. His voice calm, steady. "Welcome to Earth," he said. "We do not wish to rule your space. We do not wish to conquer. But we will never again be ignored." Silence followed his words. Then Ambassador Kelver stepped forward. He bowed his head. Slightly. On behalf of the Zelrax High Council, Kelver said slowly, "We offer peace. Full recognition. Trade. Open contact." Arlen nodded. Others followed. One by one. Empires of the galaxy agreed. No one dared refuse. The peace summit lasted for 3 days. When it ended, the galaxy was no longer ruled by fear, but by understanding not. Everyone trusted humans, but everyone now respected them. After the summit, as the last alien ships left Earth orbit, Captain Arlen stood once again on the bridge of ISV Eclipse. Nora's voice spoke quietly. "Galactic status. Stable. No threats detected." Arlen gave a quiet smile. That's how it should be. He walked to the observation window, looking out at the stars. "Do you think they truly understand?" he asked. Nora's answer was calm. "They understand now." Captain. Back on the Zelrax homeworld, Kelver stood before a crowd. His voice was broadcast across all their systems. "For years," he said, "we believed power came from size, from fleets, from control." He paused. "We were wrong. True. Power is patience, discipline, knowing when not to strike." And across the stars, billions of beings listened. From that day forward, Earth's story became legend. The quiet world that waited, the hidden fleet that watched, the humans who spoke last and spoke loudest. The galaxy finally understood. Not because Earth had destroyed it, but because Earth had chosen not to, and the words spoken most often now. In every corner of space, they scanned a human ship, and immediately knew they were doomed. But they also knew humanity would only doom those who deserved it. And so, for the first time in galactic history, peace lasted not forever, but long enough. Long enough for all to remember the day the galaxy finally understood.